I'm Austin Church. I'm the CMO with Moxie. We are very excited to have you all. We're appreciative that you spent a little time today in your day to come be here with us. I'll hand it off to Jeff Mina. He is our CEO. He can tell you a little bit about Moxie.
What's up, everybody? If you're on this workshop, I'm guessing you already know something about what we're doing here at Moxie. We do have a big initiative around education and helping our community be more successful. And part of that initiative is bringing on awesome people to teach this workshop series and drop knowledge. And I mean, I've learned some awesome stuff over the last 6 months since we've been running this. So I don't expect today to be any different. Super excited to have John here.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Let me introduce John to those of you who do not know him. So John D. Saunders, the one and only, he is the founder of 54 Digital, which is a web design studio in Miami. He's an author. He's a course creator. He's creating a video game right now with his son. He has leveraged his web design and creative director skills to build multiple 7-figure businesses, and that with a small remote team. And I think he would be the first one to tell you that well-defined processes can transform your freelance business. And I presume that's why you're all here. So without further ado, John, why don't you give us the skinny on standard operating procedures?
Hey, everybody. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Jeff, for having me. I'm excited. I'm a big proponent of being able to provide value, especially in the creative community. So I want to say hello to everyone on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. I mean, I'm in South Florida, so the weather's pretty hot, but it's nice, so I cannot complain. And yeah, I'm going to jump straight into it. I want you all to know that this is going to be full transparency. I'm going to show you how to build SOPs. I'm going to show you examples, and I'm going to show you how we integrate AI too, because that's a buzzword right now. Everybody's saying AI this, AI that. These are actionable things that you can do to incorporate AI into your workflow as a creative, whether you're a brand advocate or a web designer or developer. I want to make sure that I provide and maximize this time I have with you all. So I'm going to jump in and we're going to get straight into it. And then I guess at the end, we'll do any questions. So, but feel free to drop the comments in there so that we can save them and talk about them later, because I do want to be able to answer any and all of your questions. And so I'm going to jump in. Guys, are we good? We good to go? Can you all hear me okay? I'll go ahead and share my screen and I will jump in here. Awesome. Awesome. All righty. Let me go ahead and pull this up. I'll pull up the slideshow here, and then I'm going to share my screen. All righty. Can everybody see that? Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So we're going to talk standard operating procedures. I know it doesn't sound super exciting for creators, but trust me, I'm going to make it as fun as possible and give you some AI tips too. So when you leave this class, you'll be able to have a full understanding and start making your own SOPs. And I want everyone to understand too, that it's important as a freelancer, as an agency owner, either side you're on, to make standard operating procedures, because they're going to mitigate issues in your agency, your company. So let's go ahead and dive in, y'all. First things first, I'll talk about who I am. I'll keep that very brief since Austin covered that pretty much. What are SOPs? How to create an SOP, case examples, which I think you'll all enjoy. They are all in the branding design space, and then some SOP downloads and Q&A. And I'll send a link over after with a template. Just remind me, guys, to send that over, and I'll make sure I get a Notion template to everybody that they can use to create their SOPs as well. And let's dive in. So who am I? I am I'm a public speaker, love to talk, love to provide value to the design and dev community. I'm also a dad of 2 and a husband as well. This picture's kind of old, this top middle one. This is with my oldest son now. He's 6, so I really gotta update this slide, y'all. But I'm also an avid gamer. As you can see, that's an original Nintendo. Some of you might be too young to know what the Zapper is or Duck Hunt, but I'm a video game OG. So if y'all want to get online with me, just let me know. And then there's my second little one. Her name is London, and then my wife here on a beach. So as you can see, I love to provide value, pretty much a family man and a gamer, and that's essentially my lifestyle. I'm a creative director and founder over at 54 Digital. We're a branding, design, and development agency, and we focus on helping startups develop their websites, I'm also the founder of Black Illustrations, which is another platform where we sell illustrations to featuring people of color. And then I also started a company called Urban Wallet, which was a financial literacy blog that was acquired 2 years ago. So I'm a big advocate of creating cool, dynamic brands and being able to grow them over time and be able to create that business. And so what are SOPs? Most of you know this from a bird's eye view, but just to give you a breakdown, SOPs are a set of step-by-step instructions compiled by an organization to help workers carry out complex routine operations. Now, in some cases, and I get this question a lot, freelancers are like, I don't have a team. Why do I need systems? Why do I need SOPs? Main reason being is if you can itemize and create a breakdown of the steps in your business, one, it'll mitigate issues you have because you can always go back and reference your process. Two, and this is something I'll talk about a little bit later, is you can actually leverage those SOPs, gift wrap them, and sell them to other designers, other creatives. So not only are you documenting your process, you're also able to gift wrap that process and sell it to other creatives and other people in your space. So it's a two-win fold on that. Now, SOPs aim to achieve efficiency, quality output, and uniformity of performance. And that's the main thing. You want to make sure that it's consistent. I have ADHD, so I have to be able to systematize my life, because if I don't, it'll be haywire. I write everything down, I create systems, and I write everything down step by step. So I want everybody to stop for a second and drop a comment in the chat. Does anyone know who this guy is? I'm going to go to the chat and see if anyone knows who this guy is. Let's see. Let me pull it up here. Let me know if anyone comes up with any names, y'all. Oh, I can see the chat coming up. Oh man, okay. Y'all y'all are pretty good. Y'all are pretty good. Y'all know, yes, this is, yep, exactly, y'all. This is Ray Kroc. Whoops, I skipped one. Ray Kroc, he is the SOP OG. That's what I call him. He is the GOAT of standard operating procedures. Now, there's a movie out. I'm a movie buff too. So if there's a movie out called The Founder with Michael Keaton, I implore every entrepreneur to watch it. Ray Kroc did some not a little kind of crazy stuff on the side, but overall, his process behind how he got McDonald's to lead in efficiency was amazing. And so Kroc's strategy led to a fully made burger in 60 seconds. So how did you do it? He standardized operations that included portion size and food prep, packaging and ingredients, and a 75-page manual. A 75-page manual on making a burger, y'all. I mean, that's a little extensive, but ultimately, he can take that same document and pass it to multiple people to go ahead and create efficiency in his business. Now, as teen employees come and go, right? You've got school, you've got college, you've got graduation. He was able to create this system that he could then give to more and more folks and created consistency in the business. That helped him grow to 25,000 worldwide stores, becoming the #1 fast food chain of all time. And side note, #1 real estate owner, because McDonald's owns a lot of the land that they have these restaurants on. So quick little side note there. So I ask everyone to really stop and think about what parts of their business needs consistency. Whether it's a virtual assistant or your most talented salesperson, SOPs can change the game, especially in the creative space. And I get a lot of creatives that come and say, well, you can't systematize creativity. I don't think you can either, but you can create a system around that makes it easy for your designers to focus their efforts on what they're great at. And so you want to create an SOP because it creates a dedicated knowledge portal of all the tasks of your business, no matter how complex. And I'll show you all our SOPs at our agency. I'm going to dive straight in and do some screen sharing there to show you all what that looks like. It mitigates mistakes. And this is the biggest thing for me. I'm, someone that has trouble focusing. I use the Pomodoro technique, and I really try to work in 30, 45-minute sprints. So if I start like acting crazy around the 40-minute mark, just let me know, guys. But
John, I think you knocked your mic out.
Whoops, there we go. Can you all hear me okay? Yeah. There we go. Sorry about that.
Back in business.
Yes. So mitigate mistakes by having this step-by-step breakdown. It's going to be easy for your team or you to go back and reference that. So even if you're a freelancer and you're creating your systems, you can go back to your systems and reference them like, okay, I'm doing a brand discovery. Here's the questions that I ask. Here's the process that I follow. It's just going to help you mitigate those mistakes and improve your accuracy. Also, it makes onboarding new team members easier and faster. So if you're like me, I'm not looking to build like this huge monolith agency. I love being small and nimble and having a team of core folks. It's going to be easier for you to onboard new team members because all you're doing is giving them the systems you've created and delegating that to a new individual. So it's taking things off your plate so you can focus on big picture. Also, less business BS, right? People can say, oh, well, I did this task, but it was incorrect. You can say, well, did you follow this SOP? Did you follow this step here? You have a way to prove that efficiency. So let's talk about how to create a standard procedure. And let me know if I'm going too fast or too slow, guys, because I'm going to jump in and do this in real time. So the SOP strategy is simple, and this changed a bit with AI, which I'm going to show y'all, which is some really cool stuff that we'll do in real time. But first step you want to do is identify. So if you can, after this call, make a list of things in your business that you want to accomplish. Like, for example, sending out an email blast or creating a process around your website art boards, anything you want to do in that way. Then actually perform the task. So take your time and be efficient as possible. Don't worry if it's not perfect because SOPs are always changing. That's another thing too with SOPs. I wonder how many times I'll say SOPs during this presentation. You down with SOPs? Yeah, you know me. So you don't want to worry if it's perfect or not. SOPs change constantly. So you might have a system that's amazing, it's perfect, it works for 3 months, and then the 4th month, it's not working properly. You always have to go back and assess these systems to make sure that they're efficient. And then while performing the task, document every single aspect, write it down. You want to be able to, and my mom is pretty savvy, but I want to be able to take this list and give it to my mom and she can execute it. Now, in a lot of cases, there will be things that will require someone that's adept at a specific field or thing in your business. But ultimately, you want this to be foolproof. You want anyone to be able to access this SOP and execute it at a high level. Then you want to record. I like to use Loom. You can use Camtasia. You can use Zoom and just record the SOP for your team to execute without you. And then review the SOP with team members to ensure it does the job, take notes, accept feedback, and keep going. There's been so many times I've created a system within the agency and team members were like, well, I can't use this, or this isn't working properly, or, hey, you forgot to add this tool. So we're constantly tweaking those over time. And then, like I said, continue to update those SOPs and make sure that you're keeping up to date with those and that team members are able to execute that at a high level. Now, let's go ahead and break down some case examples so we can look at that. The things you'll need to create your SOP are simple. Notion, you can use Google Docs, whatever word processor you like to use, you can use that. You just need screen recording software, which can be Loom, Camtasia, Zoom. ChatGPT, I recommend if you don't want to. So ChatGPT has 2 versions. They have a 3.5 and they have a 4. 3.5 is completely free, but the data is only up to about 2 years ago. 4 has the most relevant topical data, but it's still only relevant up to November of last year. Another alternative is Google Bard. That's B-A-R-D. That's free. And Google Bard actually pulls data all the way up until today. So those are some options you can use for an AI tool to help you. And then in regards to getting a mic, you can get a Yeti or you can get a Shure mic like this one. This is the MV7, I think it's called. It makes you sound like a radio host or a podcaster. So highly recommend it as well. So let me show you what an SOP looks like. I'm going to jump straight in. Can you all see my screen still? Is it still perfect? So first, I'll show you all logo design structure. So this is our full SOP list in our agency. As you can see, we've got a ton of SOPs here, all organized by category, by who's created it, and more. And I'll send you all this template so you can, if you want to use Notion to create your SOPs, you can. It's just easy for team members to search. So I'm going to pull up an SOP. Let's do one that's logo design structure. So with logo design, this is our structure of how we structure when we're executing logos for a client. So for example, let's say the client says, okay, the logo is approved, which is always an amazing feeling. Now you have to send them the files. What we do is we created this doc and it has the step-by-step directions and an image. So this is the zip file that we send. And then in there, we have the logo variations, the colors, the color variants, and then the file formats. And then we talk a little bit about logo variations. We talk about the word mark, how it should show, the color spaces, color variants. Now, I only have to do this once. I do this one time and I can send this to the designer. Hey, the client approved. Let's get the logos up. I send them this SOP and they know exactly what to do. They upload all the logos and asset files. And I can send this to you all too if you all want it. So, drop a comment like yes, and I'll send it to you after too. So you can have an example. And now I have this system that I can always access at any time. And now our designers, as they use this more and more, they get acclimated. So as soon as the project gets into this process of the logos approved, they know exactly what to do. And now I'm doing this once and then it's done. And so just to go through the SOP, we have the title, we have a little icon here. We have who last edited. As you can see, this was last edited in January. I haven't really had to edit it that often. It has an intro here. And then we put area of responsibility. We've got design, closing, all these different attributes. Is it approved? Sometimes I'll create a system and I'll send it to the team for approval because it's still in the process. And I'm not sure if folks are at a point where it's like, okay, this is solid. We're going to incorporate this into the business. Because yes, I'm a fan of SOP, all the things, but I feel like there's a certain nuance to actually doing that task properly, making sure it's right, and then saying, okay, it's approved. Because, you can create an SOP, but if it's wrong, you're just teaching it wrong to more people. If it's a client SOP, no. So what we do for clients is we also, when a website goes live, we'll send them their own systems, their own standard operating procedures of how to use the website. So that's why you put no here, because if I go to SOPs and I go to client SOPs, you can see a full list of all of our trainings for our clients. And all we do here is really just give them quick video recaps based on their website review. So again, systems work in design agency really, really well. And so I could probably show y'all another one too. Actually, I'll wait and show y'all a little bit later. I got another one to show y'all. Okay. And so that's the overall of a system or standard operating procedure and how it's structured. You have the main list of SOPs organized by Notion and linked to each SOP. So of course we have that main SOP library, right? Which is one link that I can share with the team. The folder list of organized SOPs within the business, so team members know where to find them. You can go in there and search and find anything you need in that system. And then you have docs dedicated to video training and step-by-step execution. So to kind of reiterate this, before our systems all lived on Google Drive and on the word processor. So it was a painstaking process to move everything to Notion, but it's made it a lot easier in regards to organization for our clients and for our team members to be able to find what they need. So I want to show you another SOP that we created and how we incorporate AI. Now I'm hoping that this blows your minds a little bit. So let me go ahead and dive in and do that. And then how am I looking on time? 119, perfect. Okay, so first things first, developing SOPs in your agency. I want to kind of go through ChatGPT. So just drop a yes if you're familiar with ChatGPT. I'm pretty sure everyone is. Essentially, it's an AI tool that can, in regards to accuracy, it can be pretty accurate, but you do want a second opinion or approve it through a system like I can't remember the name of the one we use, but I'll pull that up in a few. So in order to create an SOP here, I'm going to show you something really quick. So I have an SOP for creating SOP. So I call it SOP Inception. And basically it's an SOP on how to make SOPs. So what you can do is you can take this prompt, and if you all want to screenshot this, feel free. So we worked on this over the course of a couple months to make sure that it was refined and something that you can use within your agency. So we create detailed SOPs for our branding and web design agency. Can you write a template SOP on how to write SOPs that include ... right? So what I can do is I'm going to pull this up here. You can use this almost as like a template. So for example, I'm going to pull up ChatGPT and I'm going to say, oops, let me go ahead and grab that again. Here we go. Okay. All right. So what you can do is go to ChatGPT. I'm going to put, we create detailed SOPs for our branding and web design agency, 5.4. Can you write a template? Can you write a SOP on how to install Google Analytics GA4? So most creatives, you want to have analytics on your website, right? So you can track that data. I'm going to zoom in here. Can you all see that okay? Yeah, okay, great. So in your SOP, you want to make sure you have purpose, want to make sure you have scope. You want to make sure you have definitions, tools, the procedure or the steps, and then end the procedure. What this is going to do is mitigate any issues you have, because folks might be like, oh, well, I don't know the definition of this, or I don't know this keyword, or I don't know this tool. This will break down everything for you. Then here, I'm just going to delete this out because we don't need that for this. I'm going to delete this. And then I'm going to make sure on ChatGPT 4, which is, of course, the most powerful one, you can use 3.5 too. And then you can also use Google Bard as an option. 3.5 is free. 4 is about $20 a month, but highly, highly recommend it. Completely worth it as well. I'm going to hit enter. And now what it's going to do is it's going to create that SOP based on the definitive parts of the process I've added. So purpose, scope, definitions, tools, procedure, and a procedure. So here we go. Here's the purpose. It's to create an established standardized process for installing Google Analytics GA4, GA4 being the newest version of analytics. Now I have the scope, right? The scope of the SOP. I have the definitions. What is GA4? It's Google Analytics 4, the latest version. So folks that aren't familiar with this, they can go to definitions and know exactly what parts they need. Property, tag manager. Then I also have the tools here, and then the procedures. Now this is the step-by-step breakdown. So log into Google Analytics, sign in with the account associated with the website, create a new property. I actually tested this and walked through it step-by-step before this, and it's verbatim, everything that you need. Install the tracking code, and you have two options. You can do it directly to the website. You can do it via Google Tag Manager. Now, once this is done, I have the end of the procedure. Everything's great. However, let's say I'm installing on Webflow. I would say, let's update this to make the installation on Webflow. It's going to go back and update the CMS completely to incorporate that. So I say that to say, start with a standard SOP, or start off with an SOP, and then go back and refine it until it's perfect in regards to what you need. So before, I would go and I would literally go through the steps and write this myself. Now I have the list, and what I'll do is once it's done, then I'll go and perform the action, record the video, and then I have a video version and a step-by-step directional version of what we have. So for example, I'm going to show you all, because I have that. We have the same thing. Google, let me put analytics here. So analytics, I think this is here. Yeah, so see, we have the video training here, and then we have the step-by-step directions of everything that you need to get it done. And so that's what we've done. And so just to reiterate, going back, you start out with like a simple kind of, hey, this is what we're looking to create. And then you modify it based on your agency, based on your services and what you're looking to do. And now take a look. So now it says, now it's incorporated Webflow into it. So set up a data stream for Webflow, copy the global site tag, log into Webflow and select your project, right? Paste the global site tag in Webflow. So now it's incorporated those directions in Webflow, as opposed to just kind of a general installation. And you can do WordPress, Squarespace, Wix, whatever platform you're using to do that. And then after you're done with this, perform that action. So it's going to really help. Honestly, it saves hours of time, y'all, just to be fully transparent, you know what I mean? And the main reason you want to go and perform the video, because some people are more visual learners. They don't want to sit there and read the directions. So if you have the video and you have the written directions, you have a flawless SOP where you're going to mitigate any issues that person might have creating that or performing or completing that task. Does that make sense? Cool. Awesome. So that's how we incorporate AI into the process. Again, 3 types of platforms you can use. You can use ChatGPT 3.5, which is completely free. You can use ChatGPT version 4, which is $20 per month, or you can use Google Bard, which is completely free. Overall, I've used all of them for hours on end. I would say that ChatGPT 4 is probably the best in regards to like accuracy and performance. Google Bard is probably next, and it's completely free, which is great. The thing I like about Google Bard is it pulls data up until today. So you can say, what's the top 10 box office films of July 2023? And you can get that data. With ChatGPT, you can't, unfortunately, get that yet. So that's just a quick signature there. Now, going back to the presentation, there's one more AI tool that I wanted to show y'all that we created an SOP around. So before, you know, our process for creating, let me delete this. for creating sitemaps. As creatives and designers, you're most likely doing mind maps, sitemaps, wireframes, right? There's a tool, and I'll show you, and I'll walk through this sitemap strategy. This is the SOP that we created. This is our new sitemap strategy, incorporating a tool called Relume. You have general video training here, and then we have our own video training that we've incorporated, and then we have the directions. And we actually used ChatGPT to write most of this as well, and then perform that action. So with that being said, here's something really cool. I'm just going to go ahead and make a new project. So this platform is called Relume, and it's just a really cool tool. So let me show you new projects. I'm going to go ahead. So this is all incorporating AI and systems. And so let's say we want to make a website about, I don't know, you guys give me an idea, maybe some type of general like service-based website.
Freelance writers.
Freelance writers. There we go. Okay. So let's do generate a website for a freelance writer platform for like agencies to hire, you say?
Perfect.
For agencies to hire talent for fractional work. Okay, so we're going to say generate a website for a freelance writer platform for agencies to hire talent and fractional work. So we'll probably need, just off the top, home, services, about, contact, right? We might need a couple more pages for like terms or privacy. So let's do 8 pages. Why not, right? Let's put, now I'm going to hit generate. So what it'll do is and again, this tool is called Relume. I mean, we just started using it probably a few months ago. And again, I'm not a spokesperson or anything. It's just, I've never seen anything like this. So I want to share it with the design community. So it's generating the pages, right? So we have home, we have about, we have services, portfolio, blog, pricing, testimonials, right? So based on the data that I provided, it's already creating pages to get my mind going, right? Because it's pulling data from all the websites that are incorporated into the platform. Now I've got, so I'm going to move services over here, right? Because services should be first. Then potentially we have portfolio. Then let's put about here, pricing, testimonials, great. Now it's generated all the sections on the homepage. So feature section, feature list section, how it works, customer logos. I mean, this is all great stuff, right? I mean, it's great start, right? So I'm gonna minimize this a little bit. Now what I can do is I can generate the sections for all these other pages too. I'm gonna hit generate. Now I'm gonna be able to see my services. So we've got the header. While that populates, I'll go ahead and update these two. Generate, 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 generate. And then we'll just generate all of these so you can see what those look like. And then we also need to add like a terms page, right? So all I have to do is type the name, terms, generate. I can do privacy too. Privacy, generate. Okay. So as you can see, we've got our services here, right? Content writing, copywriting, technical writing, and editing. Great. Those are 4 services that we can highlight in the features list section. Boom. I've got a full sitemap for a website. To start, I can go through this section by section and update this accordingly. Now, the craziest part, y'all, is this. So I have this ready to go, right? It's still doing privacy, so let's wait a little bit until that's populated. But as you can see, the content is consistent, right? Outline the features and costs associated with each pricing, basic, standard, and premium, pricing comparison section, right? That's all there. Now, what I can do is I can say, turn this off, and then I can hit wireframe. And what it's going to do is it's going to generate a complete wireframe of the website based on what was supplied in the sitemap. Now, y'all, when I saw this, I've been in this space for a long time. When I saw this, I was like, wow, this is this is kind of crazy. And ultimately, now I can see this full wireframe. And as you can see, find the perfect freelance writer for your agency. It's not a bad tagline. I can even click this and I can say generate copy, and I can rerun it to change the copy. And this is all just AI pulled. And as you can see, writing examples, we've got the individual services. So again, full website wireframe. Now I can do 2 things with this. I can take this and I can export it to Figma and then work on this in Figma directly. Or I can export it to Webflow and build out the components in maybe 20 minutes and have this wireframe ready to go. So this tool, once we started using it, we're like, we have to incorporate and create an SOP for this. And so we created one here where we can incorporate the sitemaps. The wireframe component just came out, so that's pretty new. So we haven't even created a system for that yet. But I just want to get the cogs moving and all of you going in regards to, wow, this is something that I can do where I can leverage this to get the general idea out there, create some momentum behind this, and then be able to create systems around this as a creative that can help me focus on the creative part, right? And creating designs and elements that'll help accentuate this content that has been created. So that is my presentation, y'all. I know we're done at 1:30, but I wanted to give enough time to answer any questions that folks might have. I hope it was valuable. And then after the presentation, you guys just send me a reminder. I'll send all the links that I shared today too, so folks can start building out their SOPs.
I mean, I think everyone's going to need a minute to recover from what just happened.
Do you have an affiliate link for Reloom? Because
I don't.
You should go get one.
But John, that was like everyone who has ever created a website is like trying to recover from the grief they're feeling right now.
Listen, man, it's wild, dude. I honestly don't even know how to feel about it. I just feel like, okay, I have to be using this because I don't have a choice. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, man. It's just moving so fast. It's insane.
Yeah,
it is insane.
We do have several really good questions that came in. Alexa asked, how would you recommend approaching SOPs if you are a freelancer or solopreneur without a team?
Great question. So what I would do is really start as a freelancer. You have your own proprietary way of doing things that may be different from another agency or another company. And usually when folks are looking to hire a freelancer, they want that bespoke feeling of a custom solution for what they're looking for. So what I suggest is start to just write down all the tasks that you do, whether that's doing stylescapes, doing design, doing logos, responsive, whatever you're working on, start to document that and just do it internally for yourself, because it's just going to help you by documenting everything that you're doing. It's just going to take that weight off your shoulders, because right now, every time you're doing a project, you're probably going, okay, I have my process in my mind. You don't really have anything definitive on paper. This is going to help you document that. And then, like I said before, later on, you can take that proprietary system you've created, and if you want to, sell that to other creatives as an additional revenue stream. And it's just a win-win when you do this as a freelancer, because I know a lot of freelancers. The Company of One, there's actually a really good book called by, I think, Paul Jarvis, I think, Company of One, which is a really good book. And you're seeing that happen a lot more often, where people are able to make really, really good money as a freelancer, as a one-person agency, one-person company. The more you document, the easier it is going to be for you. And then you just, you have full control over your time and your systems that you've created.
Great. Here's one. I'm new to SOPs. Can you recommend 3 to 5 I should get started with? And I take it this person meant like sort of like high level stuff that might be apart from specific discipline, like identity design versus freelance writing, but like high level.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, look at your company in the space of what's the task that's taking me the most time. For me, it was web development. Web development, I would spend 3 hours on one banner. You know what I mean? This is back in WordPress days. And I would just spend so much time doing it. So I was like, why don't I just create a system on, hey, this is the general wireframe, this is what we're looking to create, and be able to delegate that. So I would think of the things that if you were to hire, you would delegate first. As a creative, there's a few things that you can do. As a creative, you're creating logos, right? So maybe you have a specific process of, hey, here's the template of our brand guidelines. First page is tone, second page is the services we provide. Just kind of create an overall outline for that, and then start to slowly document everything. You don't have to do this all in one day. It takes time to create these systems. Just start with one per week and saying, okay, this is something I'm going to document and create a system around.
Great. So this one came in the chat earlier, like installing the tracking code for Google Analytics is one thing, but how do you approach SOPs around something like logo design, where creativity is such a huge factor?
Great question. So I feel like you're essentially documenting your process, but you're not documenting like the creativity. So for example, when we bring on a client, we're doing branding. So we'll start with a discovery session. During that discovery session, every answer to the questions is going to be different, but the questions pretty much stay the same, right? Overall, what services do you provide? Who's your main target audience? Where do you have a low? It's like those general questions don't really change. So that you can create a system around. The answers to those questions are going to be different for every single client. But by documenting that, you're creating a process that's going to make it easier for you to focus on that creativity. So first step is having that discovery. After that discovery, what do? You work on 3 logo concepts. After those, you do those logo concepts in Figma, you send it to the client. The client then reviews it for 3 days. After those 3 days, they approve. Now you're working on the brand guidelines. Now you're working on visual assets. Now you're working on the logo 3D render. So by writing those down and just documenting it, it's just, you're still going to have your creativity and be able to do what you do on a daily. It's just going to make you say, okay, I know what the next step is, and just help you systematize the process, not the creative side.
Yeah. And you are standardizing client experience too. And every client, it's like, if you go to the trouble of trying to deliver a really great experience for one client, make sure you kind of have something like a checklist and timeline so that the next client gets an equally good experience. You don't have to answer this one right now, but multiple folks are like, hey, where can I buy this stuff from John? So maybe we'll follow up with you later. And if some of the templates that you showed in Notion are available for purchase, we can include that link when we email about the replay. But here's another one that's related. What else do you use Notion for other than SOPs?
Yeah. So, man, pretty much everything in my life. All of our project management happens in Notion. There's a company called The Future. They have a platform within Notion called Opsys, which creates a project management platform within Notion. We use that. I use Notion for our personal life checklist. I'm going to pull it up. I use it for our deal pipeline within the agency, admin stuff, our client list, our team roster, any notes that I'm taking. Think of Notion as like Google Sheets, Google Docs, and Evernote had a baby. That's pretty much how I run Notion. So it just documents all of those aspects of my life.
Oh, nice. So you kind of use it almost like as command central for the business?
Exactly.
Nice. So what about delegating? Like when it's finally time for you to share your SOPs with someone else, how do you kind of get that other person started with using your SOPs?
Yeah. So for example, if we create an SOP and it's supposed to be delegated to someone, I'll send them the SOP and say, hey, check this out when you can. And I give them a few days to mull it over. I don't want them to do any actions yet. Just watch the video, look at the directions. After a few days, I'll say, hey, let's go ahead and perform the action. Once they do that, I'll see how it's done. If there's any issues, we'll talk about it and update the SOP accordingly. If not, great, we'll keep it moving. And then every few months, we'll revisit it to make sure that it's up to par. So we actually have an SOP for like our full agency process that we've created, which walks you through getting a client and then all the way down to the platform or the entity going live. So that's that's pretty much how we approach that. I know I'm being long-winded. I don't know why, but
no, that was great. So, if or any ideas, well, hold on, let me skip that one for a second. Speaking as a creative with ADHD, could you speak more on your journey of working for yourself and building systems that allow you to deliver solid work while dealing with ADHD?
Yeah, sure. So for me, it's there's a few things that I follow. One, I try to do the Pomodoro technique in regards to like working 30 minutes, 15 minutes off. I also try to turn like all the notifications on my phone are off except for like text, call, and like my bank app. That's pretty much the only ones that I have on. If I do want to check social media, I do that in windows or spurts where I'll go in. Okay, great. And then I'll jump back out as well. In regards to like delivering to clients, for me, SOPs are the main reason I'm able to have the success I do. And of course, an amazing team, because if I don't document things, I'll forget. There's times I walk in a room and I forget why I walked in there. There's times where I literally can't focus. So I have to step away. And so these systems help bring me back and help root, okay, these are the things I need to work on specifically today. One thing that helps me too is having like a weekly checklist. So we have our project management platform that we have on Notion, but I also have a notebook. And on that notebook, I'll show you all in real time. I have 4 quadrants, right? Can you all see that? I know it's kind of hard there we go. So I have agency tasks that, that we really want to focus on getting done. If you see the acronym, those are like the client names. Then I have design, then I have development, and then projects. And so these 4 quadrants are basically what I'll go through. So each day I'll look and I'll check in with the team to make sure things are getting done. Of course, we still have our project management platform that we use to complete tasks for clients and subtasks, but this just helps me root in regards to, I have my systems, I have my list of things for the week, and I know I want to get those things done. And I feel like there's nothing like being able to cross something out physically, like with a pencil. And I'm a tech guy, so it just feels good. You get that quick hit of dopamine, and it's just a nice touch throughout the day.
100%. I mean, I'm guilty of writing things down so that I can immediately cross them out, right? So this next question it's kind of a blend of 2 of them. You've got the SOPs. How do your non-technical team members kind of respond to SOPs, especially in Notion as a tool? And have you ever had any trouble with like quality or with people who almost refuse to stick to an SOP? So it's almost like, I know that was jumbled, but do your best.
No.
With that question.
No, great question. So there's a few things with that. One, if the process isn't working, I'll look at myself and say, okay, did I make this properly? Am I vocalizing what I'm looking for in this task properly? And that's the first thing I'll do. The biggest issue we have currently is team members using the SOP, right? Using it a few times, getting really good at it, and then the task kind of losing its way a little bit because they're not referencing the SOP as often, right? They're like, okay, I know what I need to do. I've seen the doc, and then they don't reference it again for months. That's probably the only issue we have, which really isn't. It's probably a minor convenience at best. But ultimately, folks get really great at the SOP. They don't reference it again anymore, and we see a little bit of a dip in the performance on that, which is easy to fix. We just go back, update the SOP, or ask that individual to check it to make sure that it's all conducive to what we're looking to do.
So do you think that Notion is pretty user-friendly for non-technical folks?
I'm going to be honest, like, I think Notion is good. It's just, it's a bit overwhelming sometimes. I'm looking at other tools too. I feel like there could potentially be another solution. Sometimes it's a little too convoluted. It just creates a page for everything. Like every single thing you do, it creates a page for it. And it's just, it can get convoluted a bit. It's the way we've created the systems within Notion is we try to keep it as clean as possible. But if you get into the weeds, it could be a lot. And sometimes I feel like it does a little too much as an end user. Yeah, exactly. Like Becca just commented, the UI is messy when you get pages with, exactly. You might have a page within a page within a page within a page. It's like, and then you're like trying to find one page and it's like all the way deep inside of like another like database. It's just, it could be a lot. It could be a lot. And for non-technical folks, it could be pretty overwhelming.
Last question.
Yes.
Where, and we'll put these links in the replay email too, but where can people find you online?
Yeah. You can find me johnDSaunders.co. On that website, you can find my course, which my accelerator has all of the SOPs that you all saw today. There's like probably like 75 plus the agency SOPs. And then I have other smaller products too there that you can get like quick Notion pickups, but I'll give you all the Notion template after this call so you can check that out too, just to get started. And then of course, you can check out those other offerings.
John, thank you so much. This truly was like, okay, I know what I'm doing the rest of the day. But thank you.
Thank you both.
And
you guys have been awesome.
We'll follow up. We'll get all those links in the replay email, and we'll see you at the next workshop.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you everyone for coming through.
We'll post the replay of this in the Facebook community. So if any of you are in there, we'll drop it in there, and then I bet that'll stir some good conversations about all the AI tools and SOPs. John, that was awesome. Like, we do a lot of these things.
Thank you.
And I got to say, this was one of the best workshops we've had. You knocked it out of the park, man. That was phenomenal.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I hope everyone got some value from it. If there's anything you all need, I'm only one call away. So hit me up if you need anything, guys.
Thank you. Cool. Talk to you soon.
All right, everybody. Take care.
See ya.